Well, Mumia is one person, and I want to say this because I was asked this question the other night. Mumia was not arrested as a member of the Black Panther Party. He was not in the Black Panther Party at the time he was arrested. And as a matter of fact, we're not sure when he was actually in the party in Philadelphia, but let's say he was in the party. But it was many years later that he was arrested. And his case became political because it became politicized. We have a brother here in California who went into prison as a Black Panther in 1969 and is now 38 years in the joint, who was on death row, got off of there because of the general amnesty in the state of California at that one little window, at that one, his name is Romaine Fitzgerald. And we have a man named Jamil Al-Amin that I'm writing a book about who used to be known as H. Rap Brown, who got life in prison. What I'm saying is I think that the awareness about Mumia is important, but I also want to say that I want people to realize that there are lots of other really serious political prisoners as well as others who are not political, but because of the political scheme are in prison, like the kids who are in prison, even though they committed a, quote, crime. That crime it's a crime because of the political nature of how they got arrested. They're poor. You know, you don't see any rich people in the joint, trust me. I don't care if they're white, black, Mexican, or Native American. They have one thing in common, they're poor. You don't see any rich people in the joint, trust me. They're like one or two in the little federal joint, they're there for 5 minutes playing golf in Lompoc or something, and then they get out. So there's a whole other piece that I think has to go. As far as the case of Mumia, there's a lot of people trying to get his case going. I think that people can go online quickly and get involved in his case, and because there's so much to do. There's millions, though, of letters going, marches going for Mumia. But I would also ask that you look up the Free Chip Fitzgerald website and participate in. He's got a parole date coming up in April, and I've got some Brown Berets I just met with in Watsonville. They're raising consciousness about CHIP because people have forgotten. I talked to Fred Hampton Jr., and because he does a lot of work out of Chicago with a lot of the other political prisoners that are out there. There's so many. It's so sad, and that's not to put down anyone. Believe me, I'm not trying to diminish the value of Mumia. Because he has held the line politically, he has been conscious, he has put the material out there, he's raised awareness, he's done that time, and he's sitting there and he's still facing death, But I got another guy named Siddique Hasan in Ohio with the Lucasville Five, which is 3 black men and 2 white men who went down on a 1993 uprising in Ohio State Prison in Lucasville, and who are all called the Lucasville Five. They've been on death row since '93. And they were there because, interestingly enough, Siddique Hasan was, they were going to, it was just like the last straw, but the prison decided they were going to give TB shots to everybody. Well, if you're in prison, you don't want anybody to be giving you no needle, okay? You don't trust what's going to happen. So the Muslims who were there said, well, we're opposed to alcohol being put into our blood because we don't drink, and this contains alcohol, so we'll take the test if it's like the sputum test or some other TB test, right? It's screening only, right? And there's other ways to screen. And the warden said, I can't see you, can't hear you, don't care. If you're not ready by Monday, and this was the Monday after Easter, if you don't agree to take these tests, we're going to administer them forcibly. So the Muslims said, well, we're going to shut this wing down. And along with a group, the Black Gangster Disciples and the Aryan Brotherhood, believe it or not, the Aryan Brotherhood, the Black Gangster Disciples, and the black Muslims, they were not the black ones, but the blacks who were Muslim, in Lucasville Prison in 1993, they shut down the wing and became the longest prison uprising in America. And the result was there were 11 people killed. 10 of them were prisoners, amazingly. And 1 was a guard. The guard, of course, is worth 10 more people, you know what I'm saying? So all of them, the 5 who became the Lucasville 5, went on trial for conspiracy to kill the guard. Like they didn't care about, they knew other people had killed all those other people. They didn't know who really killed. And so this guy, Siddique Hasan, that I'm specifically working with, he was charged with being a leader. Nobody testified that he had ever killed anyone because he didn't. But they said, you were a leader, and so therefore you probably told people to kill somebody. Even though most of the people who were killed actually were white prisoners, believe it or not. Like of the 11, out of the 10, there was like 7 who were white. Isn't that an interesting story? So I want people to know about those other people. They're sitting on death row, and they need some support, and they don't have it. And although he's on, Mumia has a radio network, and so Hassan is on that network. And so there's a lot of others, and I hope that people will become conscious, though, of what is going on in the prisons of this country and how many people are sitting under the rock for very little. This guy was about to get out, but he's now facing and he isn't. And the last thing I was going to say is when I visited him in Ohio, I mean, he's behind the screen, you know, glass, the guard is in the back, you're on the other side, there's no touching at all. He's with handcuffs and waist chains and leg chains. I'm like, where is he going? It's like, and he's never visited any other way since 1993. And I don't know how these guys, you know, like mentally deal with a lot of this stuff that's going on. So I appreciate your raising that because, and I hope that people will say Mumia, free Siddique, free Jamil, free Fitzgerald. Chip Fitzgerald, I like to say because he was my comrade in L.A. and my friend and my, that I knew. And we, you know, I talked to him, I wrote him a letter the other day and I said, you know, it's interesting because one of the women that was in the party with us in L.A., her son was born just about the time he went to prison, that he was arrested, and has now died. And so, like, there's been a whole person that has, like, lived and died to be 35 years old while he's in the joint. You know what I'm saying? Like, a whole lifetime went on, and he's been behind bars forever. And he's still very, very humane, has not lost his humanity. It's really quite incredible. So I hope you look up his case also. Just put his name in Google his name, and it'll probably pop up to the website. But I would like to just say free all the political prisoners in America, and thank you for raising that. Thank you. Okay, thanks, everybody.